Every man talks a big game, then he gets a taste of a real woman. I cook for them, love them, wash their clothes, kiss them lips, wipe them nose. You taste the sugar, you lose your teeth and everything beneath. No man alive can handle me. They say I'm too much woman for one Asian bed. Too much thoughts in this big head. To challenge him for you, I won't give in. Too much meat for their pride to see and agree. Them nuts in my mouth, then it goes south. Blow your mind and walk out on you. Yeah, they want a snack, not a meal, baby. They don't know how to ride till the end. No man alive can handle me. I'm fire dressed in melody. I shine too bright, I cut too deep. They talk their love, but they don't know how to keep. Don't you shove me, cause I shove back. Man, this woman can give you a heart attack. Gave my heart till my knees went weak. I ain't no dog for some fool to own. They love my laugh, but not my pain. No man alive can handle me. No man alive can handle me. No man alive. No man alive can handle me. No man alive. They like it fluffy, they like it sweet, but I serve heat beneath the sheet. You taste the sugar, you'll fall to your knees. No man alive can handle me. No man alive to the hate. No man alive. No man alive to the hate. No man alive to the hate. No.
Good morning, guys. What is going on? Hey, Sarah is in the house. Guys, during this live stream, Mary, leave that alone, honey. It's just me solo. Usually, certain days, it's just me. I had to put George out on Walking Street, and he stayed up all night doing his fans only. It's jokes. But so after talking for a little bit, I'll probably start doing the cough I did during the last live stream because of the restricted air. But I still feel a need to do these live streams for multiple reasons. You can hear my voice is compressed or raspy. Usually I'm way louder. And there's a lot to say. First off, I'm extremely overwhelmed. Okay, very emotional that we've had a big outpour. And there's been vloggers that have come forward, but then we've had trolls and people in comments and emails saying, oh, where's all the rest of your vlogging friends? And I'm like, wow, I can't believe you're splitting hairs right now. And thank you, Smoothly, for putting out like real truths where he said that everybody gives a shit about these other male vloggers, or he said Filipinas in general, but it's kind of what me and George was saying. But when it comes down to a American woman or a woman in her 50s with no looks, thank you, Smoothly, I agree with you. You know, I mean, I've always been average, but he pretty much put it in the place. Basically, I'm not a Filipina. That, you know, there is some pushback. And then we're getting pushback because I get what I deserve. And I wanted to address that. And me and George discussed it. And it's like, it's fair game for me to say something at this point. In less than 48 hours, we either had a family member of mine or a suspected person that reported the GoFundMe page. It's called Go Get Fund because George set it up because it's not because we don't have the US bank anymore. And so it had to be set up in a different GoFundMe. Somebody reported it, and by the way, they sent us what it said. So it kind of gave away the person that said it. They gave us what they wrote. And basically, they said that I'm lying, that we made a full statement that we have the money for this issue, and that I do a daily video of me walking around. So how could I be sick? And I'm like, wow, okay. First off, I have the right to walk around even if I'm dying. And so I've fought them for the last 2 days along with George and stating, if did you look at the page where it shows congestive heart failure written from the doctor? Did you go read the information and why we're trying to get the money? They came back yesterday and said, we don't have any problems anymore. So we sent them the proof, but some asswipe, family member, troll, or we have an ideal of who it could be, tried to have it shut down. And it's like, why? Why are you blocking all of George's effort? A man watching his wife die. Shame fucking on you. Shame on you, because I don't deserve it, because I've talked about expats. I've helped people. I've explained my life. And it's like, wow. So I wasn't going to address it, but I have nothing to lose but to be totally open with you guys right now. Somebody tried to have the Go Get Fund shut down. And even if they did, it's a direct pay to PayPal. So George would just continue to take in the funds for Gcash, and we would have other ways, but to actually try to shut it down just didn't happen. So it's been verified, and they're not taking the GoFundMe. I keep calling it GoFundMe, but it's called Go Get Fund Me. Next, I appreciate everybody's brutal honesty on how the hell did it get to this point. Everybody's talked about go get an insurance policy, go to Phil Health. Phil Health does not cover these, and it's a 1-year waiting. And George's uncle had it, and he was sick. Remember, he was in the hospital for about a month. It covers little to nothing on serious issues. They'll cover Filipinos with some heart issues and some dialysis. They've upped some of it, but it won't. And we initially came in with insurance for like temporary, like the travel insurance, probably about the first year. And someone was like, well, if you couldn't get regular insurance at that point, your ass should have went home 4 years ago. Well, that's not true either. You realize the percentage of expats that have no money for fundings, rent month to month, okay, with no incoming income. They're just rolling the dice on their YouTube channels, or that they don't have any money. They're doing online teaching. They're under the table, not paying taxes and all this. And y'all ain't over there griping on that. And it's fair game. When I put myself out there and George said, really, we have no choice. It's either die or ask. Well, that's pretty much what's going on. Okay, we're rallying around community. But getting the insurance, this congestive thing, I had no signs at all. The lupus was a problem. The skin cancer that I have, none of these are pay as you go situations. But when you need $4 million or 4 million pesos because of entering a hospital, because then they won't let me out. It's like a big bad loop. And if you guys seen the last live stream, bless our Philippine journey Mike, that was knowledgeable. He was spot on about everything. Every day that I wait to enter the hospital, my lungs are damaged. I could actually, at this point, me and George had a full conversation. I was in a total panic last night because even if I go in, we have officially raised 100,000 pesos in the last couple of days. Thank you to everybody. And that is only enough to pay for one of the tests. And I wrote it down. Sorry, with my memory being cloudy and different things, I officially have really started writing things down. I need a coronary angiogram but technically it's a right heart cath or both. These could be 160,000 pesos alone. Once they see the damage to my lungs and to my heart, to see how many of my arteries are blocked besides my mitral valve going bad. It's already hardening. It's all of it is like a circle. The lupus is attacking my body, attacking my heart. I thought it was just, for the last few months, it's just kind of been aches and pains, a little coughing, because I've always had some sort of asthma, and allergies and all that. So it was kind of something I just didn't think about until everything else started happening. And recently went into the doctors. But let me get back to the stents. So whatever's going on with the coronary arteries, it's going to require one, two, multiple stents. In the Philippines, you have to have the money. And I do have updates, guys. Stick around, okay? Um, the amount will be astronomical. And I told George, I said, let's just say we take the 100,000, go to the emergency room right now, because that's where the doctor wants me. If I enter, then they're going to try to hold me, and then they're going to say, hey, you need this test. You get the test, then I can't afford the stents that are expensive. Doctor already said that he just went straight to the bypass. Why? And I've explained this, but this is for new people and to update those that are now joining. And I appreciate it. Like George said, I have to keep talking as if nobody knows. The the stents that may go in me because my inflammation is so high, and all this information is at the Go Get. Okay, 1 second. The internet's flashing on and off right now, guys. Ugh, love the internet in the Philippines. Um, my lupus has caused major inflammation in my body. And not only am I drowning in my own fluids that are leaking into my tissues and everything and into my stomach, that it will then turn on the stents possibly. But it could be that I'm too weak to even have that surgery. So they don't know until they get in there to say, hey, she's not going to survive surgery at this point. Let's do the stents to extend her life. Then I'm just going to be sitting in the ICU or wherever for about a week till they run Lasix in me, pulse steroids. I'm already on steroids. I've already given up other medication to stop the fluids, and it's not stopping. So it's not stopping the hardness in my stomach, and that's besides, there's just so much. So now me and George sadly cried that I'm probably down to palliative care, which means the funds may have to go there before I can even do it. And we've reached out to the US Embassy, and it takes a lot of guts for me to do this. It does, because I would rather just wait if I've only got 6 months, which is very feasible, or less, probably not even that at this point, that I'm looking at bringing a nurse in or something so I can get what they call the yellow. It's not a yellow standard. It's a mix of morphine and like Valium, because my diaphragm and my lungs are so compressed with air and fluid that I can't breathe or relax. I sit around thinking about everything. What's going to happen to George? What's going to happen to the cats? What's going to happen? What's he going to do? And I've always had an understanding of what these expats go through. Okay. For the trolls that keep saying I'm going to get what I deserve, that we were a troll channel. We are not a troll channel. We are not a dark channel. We don't get people's information and try to have them thrown in jail or turn their Social Security shit in, or only once we turned an expat in. And that's because he was molesting children up the road. That's the only time we went to immigration. We are not that channel. Sure, we've had fun. We've been entertaining. But no expat deserves this. And of there is no amount of planning when you do this, when you move to another country. Even if you had Like we had, I believe, close to 80,000 when we even entered the country. But by the time I had some medical issues, by the time we helped family during a storm, by the time we took care of issues here, money goes quick. But at least we've been here 6 years. We didn't spend it up in one or two. Things happen. Okay. And people can bring $1 million and have insurance, and that may not be enough. These guys go buying houses and motorcycles, or if you get sick like me, I can't leave. And now I have 101 people sending me emails talking about, yeah, you need to go home anyways. And I'm like, okay, I'm telling you, what would you like me to do? So now I'm getting a lot of blame that it's my fault. And it's like, you're right. It is my fault. I've taken full responsibility for what's going on. Okay. I knew I had lupus. I knew I was overweight. Okay. You guys, I have like photos. You've all seen them. I don't have to explain to the regulars about that. How the lupus and steroids have caused quite a bit of issues. So I've been dealing with the lupus the last 2 years, pretty heavy. But how did I know what lupus was going to do? It was new to me when I left. We left during the pandemic. There was a lot going on. We made a decision that this is Georgia's home country and we were going to retire later. At least we had that money at the time. We have used it. I'm not going to go homeless. We're not in that position. We just can't afford to do my medical treatment. I cannot get home. Okay. Um 1 second. I guess I should put stuff up. Just got to text George's at the family house right now. He said I should be putting stuff up. I'm going to, that is the PayPal that is direct. The Go Get Fund Me shows my story and it is attached to that. Now, honestly, I think it is better to go directly through the PayPal. It still goes in there in the end. I think it saves $1 or $2 because they charge a fee, but we need their platform is the biggest thing that George wanted to do is put it on something that was reputable. Um, let's see, I'm probably going to go around in a circle. I used to be able to get to 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon before my muscles seized up and the cramps from the water pills and the muscle tiredness. My skin is extremely dry on my back. George said it looked like a lizard right now because of when there is no blood flow and the oxygen and all this is not working right in your body. That's it, guys. Everything. Well, my hair's falling out. It may not look like it, but it's twice as thin. I'm about ready to cut it. Actually, I told George when we probably hit the first million, I'm going to cut it anyways. I'm going to start doing incentives to raise this money. Now, here's the sad part. Mike isn't wrong about saying giving up the fight. Yeah, I don't have much left. Takes a lot to do this because I'm scared of doing this. Yeah, big bad Heidi. I don't want to go to the hospital. I don't want to deal with this. And it's like I'm fighting for my life, but fighting to go do something I don't want to do anyways. And I know it sounds negative, but even if I do, I need to get well enough to go home to deal with the lupus and the ability to deal with the remaining heart issues. So my family and daughter and son and all them are ready for me on that side. I just can't fly. There's no possible way in any form or shape. Even if the doctor says, okay, your oxygen, I'm not going to survive a 16-hour plane ride. Just the one trip in the air. On average, it's 50 something hours. They range 36 to 52. There's just no way. There's no possible way when I have the ability to sit up for a few hours at a time, then I have to lay down because of the fluid. I can make it to the bathroom, I can stand and do a part of my dishes, and then I'm back down again. And then I'm using oxygen all in between. And I just don't want the open heart surgery. That's what they're talking about. But I'm hoping to get the money to get in the hospital to get relieved. The pulse steroids will bring down the swelling. The the pain medicine so I can breathe better. They're going to do nebulizer and breathing treatments. If I go into those specialists right now, they're going to demand more expensive testing because nobody's going to make a move here without them. And that's normal. I get that. So I'm already on the basics. They can only do so much. So I've got the inhaler, the oxygen, the heart meds. I keep track of my oxygen, and I just want that relief. So, but if they do those big tests while I'm in there, then I'm hoping the stents fixes it so I can fly home and deal with dealing if I'm going to have open heart surgery. But they're liable to tell me, we just need to do it or you're going to die now. I'm going to panic and do it. Everybody would do it. My mom had open heart surgery. It's not pretty. Okay. Her cancer ate her. I don't have my mom's cancer. I just have extreme lupus. Um, so that's what I'm down to today. And the U.S. Embassy has reached out. George and me made a contact to them to see. We know that it's an impossible, but we're hoping the new ambassador might have the ability with a large enough deposit of, say, a million or 2 million pesos was so much needed for me to enter to get well, that they'll at least guarantee the other part to release me. So, we can afford some payments. We just can't afford to come up with 60 or 80,000 all at once US. It's about 4.5 million if they're going to go straight and do the bypass. It could be a lot if they do more than a few stents. And I'm a complicated case. Like Mike said, they're liable to bring in several doctors and the price is just going to skyrocket. I'm overweight. My lungs are failing. My lupus and body is shutting down. And I have coronary, which means my arteries are messed up, narrowing, and just congestive heart failure. It's all shutting down. I'm like in stage D. So I started talking last night with George. I said, honestly, I'd rather just skip it all and just hire a nurse in and then use the funds for funeral, cremation. And I know it's bleak, but that's where I'm at on a daily basis. By the day, it's getting dark. And because I'd rather be comfortable the next few months than cut my chest open and be with George, because I have to go back without him. I know people say he needs to go. Unfortunately, being it's been a few years, we'd have to reapply. And I don't want George going back to the US with all the immigration stuff. It's just too much right now. So that's where we lie. So we're supposed to have a phone call with the US Embassy. We were advised, and this is like a big bitch for me right now. People advised they contacted Carrie. They were the one I call the expat hunter. She deals with the homeless or almost homeless. I guess we can put almost almost homeless in the Philippines. I guess that's what will happen if I enter the hospital. I'll be homeless in the hospital. That they've reached out and contacted her. And I told George, I said, I guess she could try to talk to Rafi. I guess she could try to rally her people to use whatever. And it's like, it's all just a what if possible, or, and at this point, I'm not shutting it down. Now, to the haters that say the other vloggers that we've defended or stood up for, or that others that have rallied for us, at this point, it's not a keeping score things. I can't force anybody that's been on our channel or that we have AKA defended or talked about or whatever, that, it's not about keeping score at this point. I started to do a video yesterday, too tired to do it, where I was like, you're a piece of shit for some of the things that people have said, like go on to 600-pound life because that's where you are, which is not true. I'm not 600 pounds. I am an Andre the Giant, 6 foot tall, very plus size woman, but I'm not 600 pounds. And that's the stupidest fucking thing you could say. Others have said that, they went into I'm not going to shed too much light because they're the same 2-3 trolls that we've had, but we've also just got regular comments based on get the insurance, you shouldn't have done it, why didn't you? Because just being overweight will disqualify you. Anything over the age of 50 and you had some high blood pressure. A lot of people have high blood pressure. Mine wasn't extreme. I think it was at 140, but once I was put on one pill, I've been on pretty much just a few pills the last couple years. And the one was, I think it's called Metoprolol. That's not exactly an uncommon thing with me being with all my medical issues that I've had. And when I say all my medical issues, it doesn't mean that I was so sick I shouldn't even travel. That's not it either. Okay. So it's an eye opener. All the amount of insurance and a lot of the insurances you have to pay up front. Like if we took a decent insurance and good chance they're going to make me pay up front anyways. I want to let you know a lot of the insurances you bring from outside, um, the United States, Canada, and other places, you have to check to see if they're not going to require upfront payment. Some actually do. At some point, I was somewhat double insured when I entered the Philippines because some of my insurance from America still covered me when I first entered here. But after a short period, it didn't. Just wouldn't have thought I would be here, guys. Um, I'm going to go through the comments. I don't mind answering your questions. I don't mind if the trolls are in the room and going to throw stupid stuff. But believe me, trust and believe me, ass wipes. You think when I'm worried about George and palliative care and getting morphine and Valium to sit around and watch cooking shows and my true crime shows that I'm just going to sit here and be like, "Oh, wow." No, guys. Karma, bitches. Karma. That's all it comes down to. And it's like my family's not rich. I've got kids that are like one son that has two jobs. My daughter is a daycare teacher, and they don't have these types of funds. They just don't. And that's not their fault or my fault. But I do have other rude family members that for the last year or two have tried to make trouble. And I'm well aware of that. So that's really fucked up too. So here's another thing for you all coming here. I'm not the first one. I'm just probably a few that admit that family's assholes sometimes when you leave. They're jealous of you. They're jealous that you're with a Filipina and you're having a better life. They're jealous that you had the balls to get up out of the country. Forget that people don't have money. Goddamn Mark Thornton and Sunshine Shoulders, bless your fucking hearts for just taking what you had, took the money, and got the fuck out of there and took care of you. That's kind of where me and George was when we left. We made planning for about 6 months. And family isn't always going to be on board. My dad still isn't talking to me. I've reached out to my dad, and now's the time. I've reached out through my children to contact. He still won't talk, all because I left. Nothing else. Close as everything else. And now, for years, he isn't going to talk. Now I'm going to die and have no contact. That's horrible. That's horrible. So for those that didn't know, now you know, because I have nothing to lose but to be so brutally honest. And also karma and fuck you for those that say our channel lies about everything. Because I'm just going to put that shit out there. I've received emails over the last few weeks and recently saying we're lying, that everything in George's life and my life and that we put out, and it's like, that's not true. Our regulars know, the viewers that want to learn something, learn from this shit. Because my intention is to take you guys everywhere with me. Whether it's palliative care and I'm bringing a nurse in here in the end with the funds, or I have to enter the hospital, I'm going to have George make sure that we get enough of this footage. Just, you can only be as prepared as possible. Learn from my mistake. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I'd like to have a donut right now, but I know that's bad. I know it's bad, but believe me, I'm like, I told George yesterday, I don't know what's going on, if it's because Easter is coming. They've made shrimp burgers everywhere. So there's a shrimp burger at Wendy's, because George is more of a foodie than me. And then McDonald's did. I was like, shit, no, I'd rather have a bag of chips for that that's got salt because I can have no salt and I'm down to 3 bottles of water or liquid a day. It's insane. So then I'm dehydrating and cramping, everything else. Please forgive me if I don't do direct shout outs for those that have contributed. Somehow in Gcash, it's not saying who the person is. I got a there's some international money that came through Gcash today, and it didn't say a name. Also, there is, there is, we've been, I started to show this before. We've been keeping track. Like I said, it's around 100,000 pesos. About 2 grand has come in the last few days, 2,000. Um, and I think we read some of them off. There is a Ryan D. I probably shouldn't say your guys' last name because I think you guys are, some of you guys are vloggers and maybe you didn't want that revealed because like I think on the Go Get Fund Me it just says anonymous, but they're giving the name when it goes into PayPal. There's a George H, a Susan O, Hurley, J, Bryce W, Linda L. There's a Ried S, Mark. There's some others that have been coming through. Gary P. There's several anonymous, and of course Sarah. Sarah is my bestie, and she's been reaching out. We just did a video call yesterday. We had a lot of fun yesterday. Ronald H, Laura, Kevin, Elroy, Darlene, Jane, Michael Onstad. I can mention his name because he's an insurance agent that we've always recommended. Victoria, of course, Smooth Lee. Again, thank you, Smoothly64, a YouTuber. You know, in the YouTube world, we've all been known to bicker, banter, talk about each other. But at the end of the day, like he said, we're Americans. We're human beings. It's never meant to be vicious. Although there are those channels, you all know that they'll hunt you down. They'll tell you to go beat people up and attack them on the streets. Yeah, that's not this channel or others. We usually just go back and forth. We have good laughs. I think Smoothly did some, and we laughed about it. He did a video where he pretended to be me and she pretended to be George, his wife, and it was hilarious. And you know, we get a lot of videos made about us. It's to be expected. And but it doesn't mean, like he said, there's been stuff in the past, the same with multiple channels, but it doesn't mean we don't care. I would sit down with the darkest troll that we're aware of and let him in the house because I mean, it's just where it is. I don't well, I have a mean bone in my body, so I can't say that I don't. But so we're keeping track, and it's so confusing for me because I think it's going to turn into palliative care and funeral funds, and that's not me exaggerating. Um, so it's just where it is until we can. I'll be interested in hearing from the embassy today, and we'll keep you up to date on that. Now, weirdly, um, there was a YouTube video that came in. Hey, Laura's in the house. I'm going to go down this list and just say a quick shout out to who's in here. Uh, Second Wind, hey, what's going on? Hey, Lost in the Philippine, you had some great ideals. Sarah, Victoria, hello. Tio Chong is in the house, and I'm probably not going to be able to grab everybody. I don't have a portable, be free. What's going on? No, I don't have a portable oxygen concentrator. And even if I did, here's the thing, you guys keep repeating this. And forgive me if I'm frustrated. I told George I'm just going to be mean as a snake at some point. I am now. That's not going to cure the issue. Our Philippine journey kind of mentioned that. And I was like, well, they're still not going to clear me. So, but that is far from a point. My condition is so critical. Giving me oxygen is not fixing it. My body and my stomach is turning rock hard. My lungs are shutting down. Oxygen does not fix that. I cannot sit up more than 2, 3 hours at a time. I can't stand more than 5 minutes. Wheeling me in a wheelchair in the airport up to the very front of the plane, by the time I would even get to the seat, I would just probably collapse. So it's not just the oxygen. My body is shutting down. My muscles are locking up. I have fallen twice in the last week. And it's not been pretty. Like my legs seized up and I hit the ground yesterday, or not yesterday, but about 3 days ago. I almost said yesterday. It seems like yesterday. My knees are all bruised up. And it's because the water inside of my body, it's so heavy, and so it's just my body shutting down. By midday, it's just ridiculous how bad it gets. My breathing, the coughing. And so there's no way to go from here, stop in Singapore. Even if we got the non-stop one, I think it's 36 hours. It still stops places. Like it stops, I think, when it first hits the United States, then I would have to go on to Florida where the family lives. That's still a stop, and there's still layovers of hours. There's no way I could sit up in a seat after traveling that long. There's just no way. And the doctor doesn't seem to think I will make it. I know I won't. If I can't stand to do dishes and I can't stand more than a few minutes, I know my body. There's no way. So a lot of people have been giving advice to go to Guam. It's a shorter trip, and that's not an answer either. Not the best hospitals, not easy to get in those hospitals. Then we would have to not only get there, then it would be a matter of staying there until I think you have to establish a bunch of stuff. You just don't go in, and that's how it works. So that's not a possibility. And I can't handle a 3 hour flight either. Being in the air could cause all kinds of additional damage to me. And I don't know what this is. I don't know if you guys can see these additional spots. There's one there. I'm starting to get these little red spots on my face. I started thinking that the cats were biting me in the night. That's a possibility, but my skin's been breaking out. Something fierce. Yeah, you could see. Yeah, on the camera, it's hard to. But all right. So I was starting to tell you guys that there was an article that I found. I knew it would go away because if you switch up a page, not weirdly, there has been articles that came up literally a day ago. It says they were asking about a guy named Bill. Did he die? In the Expat forum. And they wanted to know because they want to know about medical care. And I'm telling you, no matter how much you research and you think you have the answer, it could still happen. Now, did I know when I came here I was going to have medical issues? Yeah, I thought I could deal with them. I knew there was a possibility I'd be in a wheelchair. Okay, that's on me. I thought my muscles would lock up and I'd have this and that going on, extreme pain. I was going to deal with that. But when your heart stops or your heart's having problems, it's kind of, you don't expect it. I'm not even 55 yet. And so, and the cause is not from me being overweight. The cause is my own body attacking it. But anyway, so they want to know about medical, what happened, and there was over 100 comments dealing with medical and stuff and how people felt. And they were like, "Well, that dude was 90; it was his time." Okay, if you're 90, then come have some fun. Somebody said, "Buy good health insurance; you'll be fine." According to this person, they've had 3 major surgeries based on their insurance, which here's the thing. If you have major surgeries, doesn't that insurance cost go up like substantially, almost right away? I put George's information in with little to no medical issues. He's not overweight or nothing. And at his age, they still wanted like $400 a month just for him. And it's like, yeah, we don't have it like that. We don't have, by the time we put me in there, okay. And this is a while back because somebody asked me why I didn't get it back then. When that was added in there, it was like crazy. 600, 700, 800, like half of a check or something of Social Security. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. And especially no issues for 6 years. People don't do that. That's just people that, in this day and age, everybody somebody said that we're not practicing what we're preaching, which we never said that either. We said let it be a lesson, or we've discussed it in a thing. But I would disagree with them because we said that we didn't have insurance and that it could be a danger. And practicing what we preach, I'm not sure exactly what they meant. And they didn't mean it in any, I think it is posted on the comments. But I don't think it got that far that we're not practicing what we preach. We never said that, which left us open. We've always said that we're vulnerable. We've always said that. And we also have said that that doesn't mean people aren't going to come. I'd probably say 7 out of 10 aren't prepared right now, and nothing ever happens. We all know that. Medical is always a risk. And then I've had Filipinos and other people say, oh, all the insurance is free in America. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not true. Even the Medicare will have its limits on my disability, Social Security when I return. And the limit on that is there's still copays. I know people said you can get the supplements and everything else, and right away I won't. And there's still a copay. Like even when I had a supplement years and years ago, it was still $50 here for this appointment, 25 for the neurologist, because a lot of my issues were migraines and I was seeing a few specialists, but it's not something that was going to kill me, and it was something that I've dealt with. But let's see. So either way, back to the insurance. We've always said if you can and you're healthy. We also said, hey, if you're coming over at the age of 60, this is what could happen. Get your checkup. You can only be so prepared. What are you doing? I'm going to sell my cats. Aw, that's the 2 kittens that were under the trike, by the way. And there's Sarah. We call her Panda. Sarah, there's Sarah. That's her right here. Oh, wait. I have to look over because the camera's on there. So that's the kitten, and the orange one we found during the storm in November, I think it was. We had that bad storm. Those are the guys that were under a trike a year ago. They're exactly a year old. That was with their mother. Mother's been outside. We had her fixed. They're fixed. Now, my new kitten is not doing well. I don't know if he's just trying to one up my ass right now. Like, for real? The damn kitten started limping around this morning. I was like, what the F? And I asked him, I said, wait a minute. I said, what are you trying to? I said, what's up with you? So I don't know. He's been jumping off like the tables, off the shelves. He's been going up and down the stairs. The cat box is pretty high up, so he jumps off of that. But his front paw, he's been doing like limping, but he's been sleeping constantly. Remember, he's probably now just about 3 months old, and he just came off his mom's breast milk. So he's been picking at his food for 2 days. And I'm like, oh, shit. And then he started limping around. I said, there can't be 2 of us sick in this house right now. So I have to joke about that. But they've been good company. Like when George is out and about, we're just, hey, second win. But I'm kind of going through these comments with people. I'll probably go back through them after I say my hellos, but basically a lot of people say they're paying, like we were over the last few years. We paid for things that were 500-600 US here, like with the skin cancer that I had on my face, which is coming back, by the way, and other lupus treatment and medicines and going to other visits with doctors. But this is just astronomical at this point. But people, I understand, they're like, you should have went back then. And I'm like, well, when was drawing the line? When everything you own, including my husband that I love, is here. And I get why expats stay with their wives and decide to ride out medical or death, because it's scary for me to think about leaving George. It's scary to think that, and I get you'll say my life is worth it, and it is, but we know these guys are stubborn here too. They just won't seek out medical, and they'll just wait and pass away. And George made a statement that I feel is absolutely true. Mark Thornton knew he was dying. Okay. Every man has a story, and we think the full planning down to the baby was part of the plan. Like he agreed to everything. He knew that he didn't have long. Like, you kind of have an idea that you're sick. Now, maybe he had tests and he knew that he couldn't do something and he was just going to ride it out. But a lot of people are talking about savings in here, and it's just like it's not always possible. Other emergencies come up, and you're like, oh, well, I got enough time to save. That's what we actually thought. Good morning. Different name there. Troll of Trolls, which is really odd, but good morning. Hey, Mark, what's going on? I arrived in Manila a few days ago in Makati. What is going on with your health? I have not watched YouTube. I've been busy over in Thailand. Yeah. Let's see. It was early on, so I hope that explained. The music and the intros are on fire. Yeah, we have a few of the songs. It's time to play a few of them around. Hey, Brett IKEA, Slick Rick is in the house. And again, a big shout out, Sunshine Shoulders. We watched him. He's in Vietnam. Um, he had mentioned in his recent video what's going on, and he posted inside of his videos about about me being sick. And there's been a lot of people reaching out, and it's been really awesome. Hey, what's going on, Michael? Lost in the PH is in the house. Hey, Professor, what is going on? Here, hold on. And then we had people about the GoFundMe. George is like, what the hell are people? You guys ought to see George when these messages come in. You about know he had something to say. They were like, oh, and besides the person reporting the account and trying to have it closed, saying we were fake, and that Heidi does a daily video of walking around, and that we said we had all the money to pay for this, they tried to have it shut down on a real lie. We've had people try to take the account already. They actually came in and pretended that we needed to update PayPal by Go Get Funding. And of course, that wasn't true either. We never click on links. And they actually went in. I'm trying to get the link now. They tried to get us to do that to get the funds. And of course, you've got scammers that go through these people. They find new accounts and then they try to, hey, I can manage this or do that. And we've had two of those. And then we had an odd person with an odd email that said, in one on running thing, I would like to open a GoFundMe for your cause. Can I do that? And I'm like, yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're just going to let a random person use our information to collect money and trust they're going to have it put in a US account and that they're going to give to our cause afterwards. So the answer was no, we didn't even bother. So there's been several of them. And it's like, I get it too. But you just won't hear other people talk about it that's doing it. I can't help myself. So it's kind of where it is. Yeah, I'm trying to get the link to put in here, one thing at a time. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to. We got Easter up and coming and everything else. Kind of crazy. Me and George was just talking about it. It's already Edza is coming up, and they just had the Mabalacat festival that was going on. We've been hearing fireworks. There's that other big ass kitten. Can you guys believe this monster? Look at this bitch. Look, that's the remote for the. He's huge. He's only like a month older than her, and he's like a tiger, man. He's like a big ass tiger. Yeah, I don't know. I appreciate everybody being in here, even if there were differences, and even with family. I tried to already set that and squash that with the family too. I'm not about not making peace or friends, and especially now, I just ain't got time for that. It's my day to day. I don't know how many of you have been up on the top, like literally, or just everyday life, and then you get knocked down. Some never even experience it. But I've had enough surgeries and become ill, or when I've had kids or something else, that you then learn that, you take for granted that you can even walk. Or like I can't even hold my hand out very long because it gets so heavy and so achy because of the lupus, and the heart shuts everything down. Your muscles, it dries everything out. Like my feet are like white ghost and like all ashy right now because there's no circulation in my body. And I've been moving. The cats keep me motivated. I at least got to get up to go to the bathroom and move around the house. I can make it out and drop the trash out there, but all of that is within probably, I don't know. If I had to guess, maybe 20 feet to the front gate. So it's short distances, but I have to stop and rest out there, like literally catch my breath and then come back. But you take for granted this. So then I went from my body aching, guys, and hurting all the time. Like, I probably should have been getting some sort of pain management. I probably should have been getting more things for the other conditions, but they weren't life threatening. Okay. And the not being able to breathe thing and your lungs shutting down, sorry, I was going to cough if I wasn't laughing, is a bitch. It feels like someone's sitting on my chest all the time, and it'll just get worse through the day. And I woke up with it this morning. Yesterday, I did not. I had a few hours of peace. Not a lot of peace, but where there wasn't full pressure. I woke up with pressure this morning. And it's like between the heart issues restricting everything and now my lungs, that GoFundMe explains the pressure and everything. Like I think 20 is normal and I'm at a 90. That's beyond emergency and ICU time. And which will require a ton of tests. That it's a bitch. I told George it's like they call it like air hunger or something. So basically, it's like being held underwater all the time. So then my anxiety that I already have is just spinning in my head. It's like causing a constant panic all the time. And I'm always tired, but my anxiety won't let me sleep. So I do take at least 2 naps a day now, but then I can't. It's just crazy. And getting old's a bitch in itself. So what are you two doing? What's going on here? So, yeah, it's just you take for granted those that are around you. You take for granted that you're going to be here another day. I've always planned months in advance, way out. I can't do that no more. Like, literally, I'm even afraid to order, like, we'll order up groceries because I honestly, for the last 2 months, okay, only go out a few times now. I'm homebound. We have not discussed that. You all thought it was always like that, but it's not. Now I am. And so there is absolute emergencies. I have to go out, doctor's appointments and banking. Okay. This is a necessity at this point. And we now have something with the attorney where George can now do the banking. I've already arranged where his names are on things. But the thing is, um, it's, I don't think he's shutting down, like when I'm trying to tell him everything. And I was joking on the last live stream. George said he's going to go mess with a veterinarian and he's going to ask him about doing my medical treatment. He's going to go get prices. I said, oh, now's not the time. I said, but go do it though. But he said for the cremation and shit. I mean, I got to laugh about it, but every day I cannot plan that far in advance anymore. Like I used to think about Christmas and then like, like our birthdays are in July. We start to plan stuff and okay, we made it to Valentine. Now we have Easter. I wouldn't even plan to buy. It's just crazy now. So I enjoy the cats. I try to leave George alone. Nothing's worth a hard time, but I wish I would have learned these sooner. Hey, will you stop, you two, and leave the kitten alone? That boy's sick. You okay, boy? What is wrong with you? You better not die on me, freaking Siamese cat. Wait, I hope my dad get here and take care of you guys. So, look at cat fight. Come on, guys. What you guys can't see is oh, you can't. Like the camera won't angle enough to the. Hey, now get off him. That's probably what's wrong with him now. You probably punctured his leg. The orange cat just had the Siamese in a lock on his throat. Boy, wake up. You okay? Oh, shit. Oh, boy. Thank you, Richie. I appreciate it. So I'm just going to ramble for a little bit. Um, I don't know. I know and I don't know. But I was like in the bathroom and threw my arms up. I was like, shit, even if I get the money, I said, I don't want to go. I'm like a big ass baby right now. You know, whatever test they do, I know they're going to make the incision on my arm, snake up a camera and say, oh my God, you got all your arteries blocked. You got two of them blocked, or we can't do nothing. They're all screwed because the lupus could be shutting them all down right now. And then what? Then I'm in a total panic that they are going to, hey, you need to do the bypass. So I'm like, I really don't want any of it. I'm more at peace with just staying at peace for the next 6 months or for the next 2 months that I have. And as we have mentioned, I'm going to be quite blunt. His brother doesn't think I have less than a month. So it's day to day. So everything's there. Oh, by the way, that's my emergency case, by the way. Not that I have to prove it to anybody. It's pew, 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 for the haters. Sadly, my family is more of some of my issues right now than anything, which is sad because I'm like, if they're not helping or staying on a positive side, it makes me feel bad. And then initially at first we didn't have anybody donating, like literally the first I think 24 hours or 4, there was nothing coming in. And then I was like, oh well, shit, the people hate me. And it's like I'm just being honest about the thoughts that were going through my head, and I'm like, well, maybe this is my karma. Okay, so these are nitroglycerin, and I'm right now avoiding this like the plague. It has bad side effects, and they're meant for what's already happening. I'm already having chest pains. I just can't, I just don't want to act on it because it's constant. So I just can't keep taking them. So, and honestly, I probably wouldn't even know if it was getting that bad because it's been bad for days. So that was given a while back. But that's, I guess, if literally my arm goes numb or I go through all of that, they're not expecting me to have a heart attack. It's possible, or a stroke. They just think I'm going to stop breathing. So eventually, I think the term is the air, the oxygen, the pressure, dioxide, how my air will be produced will just shut the body down. I don't have I can't even think clear right now. Point is that's probably what'll happen. That's also being brutally honest. And I'm like, oh, so I'll just die in my sleep peacefully. They said that's a possibility. And I'm like, okay. So at least it's not, guys, see, he's nasty. Stop being nasty, Sonny. Look at the size of this monster. This cat is barely 6 months old. What are you doing? Why are you being mean? Huh? Oh, don't you get an attitude and thump your tail. Look at how long his hair is. We think he's the one of the two that when those people moved out up the street, they dumped these two. By the way, there's another Himalayan like cat. They did leave him behind, but they think he escaped. Or we think he escaped. The landlord thinks he escaped. What's your attitude today, Sonny? Huh? Can I have a kiss? You don't want to say anything? No. Can you be a good boy? No. Hmm? Yeah. Now the girls are trying to have some peace. Now stop. You're going to jump right up there and get them. They're all trying to take their afternoon nap. We at first didn't have any boys. Now we have 3 of them. So let me go through here, guys. And the stickers do help through the channel because they take a percentage out, but it's not. I can't remember what the percentage is. But here's another issue that we just ran into is Gcash. We've already contacted the whatever the office, the management or whatever. They limit how much is to be transferred or withdrawn, and that makes sense. Gcash, you can only put so much in, even if it's switched to a business account. I think it's believe it or not, this is going to sound wild, a half a million pesos, which is 10,000 US. Remember, the medical is going to be 60 to 80,000, but they stop it. So if we don't increase it to a larger sum, which we requested, then we have to wait X amount of time to withdraw. But it's there; it's not gone. And so there is also the limits on PayPal. So same thing, but the money is there. So it's going to take a while to collect all the money anyways. So we're in contact with both of them. So that was another worry. We're like, okay, now what? And so it's just kind of all of them have their limits. Like the GoFundMe. It's not that there's not a limit, but um, all of them, there's rules, regulations to protect, like that it's not scamming, that you're not a dealer or selling fake products, and there's reasons. So, but we never thought about that beforehand. The only other thing would be direct wires to the accounts, the bank accounts, and even then, it's people mentioned other things like the American side, and we just don't have those accounts anymore. I think one was Venmo. I know there can be wire transfers. We'd have to figure how that would work. 1 or 2 people have asked about that. Here's the crazy part. George said, do it, right? On that Go Get Fund Me, there's a Bitcoin thing. He goes, well, maybe someone's willing to give up a Bitcoin, right? And then he clicked on it and it said, you must set up a Bitcoin account and blah, blah, blah. And George said, oh, hell no. He goes, I don't. He says, I'm not going to make an account to. He said, no. He goes, that's just too much anyways. And so we kind of, it's been an emotional roller coaster, Yeah, there's a shrimp. It must be because of Easter, man. It's literally, it's like, and it just comes up. You got to understand, we're not like hunting. I'm not out there in a car. Either George will mention it because he's seen a poster, or it comes up in the feed, like on Facebook and shit. And it's like, son of a bitch. It's like, now I like fish sandwiches, but Wendy's always burns their shit in this town. Like we had one last month, a fish sandwich, and it was so burnt and so brown because the oil was dirty. I said, that's it for me. So, right, the donut. Thank you. I have one emergency donut that's been in the fridge. I think it's like a 2-month-old donut. It's not the fridge, it's the freezer. I'm going back through the comments here, guys. Hi, hey Tarzan, what's up? And I'm probably going to recycle, say things backwards. And for those that know us, we've done these live streams. There's no guarantees, no reels, what I won't fucking say, what it's entertainment, it's talking to the people, it's community, and it's kind of why we don't do so many actual videos, because we feel it's not scripted, but it is. It's like I'll grab the camera knowing we're doing something, so then it is kind of planned. It's kind of like, okay, oh, well, we're sitting here doing this, let me grab the camera, George will say, and I'm like, well, it kind of makes it not, that's why, you know what, we ought to consider, if we do get this money, like trying to do as much on camera as possible. Maybe we will set up the live thing in here. Y'all can just watch me, man. There's George giving Heidi a sponge bath. I'll pay for that. Hey, we could put the sponge bath on one of those sites, huh? Oh shit. Hey Laura, let's hope we hit that lottery, girl. I think that was you that sent it. George said something and we didn't respond. Victoria's in the house. Hey, did I put you up, Victoria? Good morning. I might have already done it. I'm very cloudy. This could possibly be one of my sisters. According to the name, it is. Hey, sis, I hate to hear all of this. I really hope you can get what you need. I love you bunches. Please keep me personally updated. And I have been. This is one of my favorite sisters that's always been supportive. We went on the cruise together. It's probably been about 7 years. I could be off on that. We've been here over five and a half here. And we were in Mexico over 6 months. So God, it was probably even before that. I was with George before. God, has it been 8 years? We went to Cozumel and Belize together. Best time of my life. It was like a 1 week cruise. Now I'm not hip on. I wouldn't do another cruise. I wouldn't. I also panicked on the cruise too, but it was fun. It was different and everything. Um, we had a pretty good sized room, but love you too, and I definitely will. I'm limited to who I'm talking to because it's just been really rough with the family. Um, Morphine stops the panic of not breathing. Yeah, it relaxes the diaphragm. Like somebody's like, "Oh, Heidi's a previous druggie," and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, "Well, fucking bullshit." You know what I mean? More gossip, more lies and stuff. Because from saying that, someone left a message there. Like a lot of these get held. I want to let you know they get held, and George goes through them. And we got one like that too, but it has nothing to do with like it'll probably alleviate some of the pain. And then I told George I can't stay on it all the time because it'll probably be more towards the afternoon. And they do have it in liquid drops here and through like where they would do injections, but that would still require nursing to come in. George is supposed to take me in the next few days to go talk to pain management, but I told him, I said, are they going to do it? Do we start it? Once you start that, once you start that stuff, my other fear is just like once you stop moving and you stay in bed, like, I'm tired all the time. I'm afraid I'm going to keep sleeping. The more I sleep, the closer I am to not being here. I'm afraid if I start the morphine and the Valium to help with my breathing issues, I've watched too many people die this way. It is then you stop eating, and I'm already slowing down on eating. I'm gonna tell you right now where I used to, it's kind of become limited. So it just progressing down the road. But yeah, there is a pain management. George had a video he was supposed to edit. He hasn't had time. The guy goes to a place that's here. They do issue him morphine and all that. But like I said, it's, uh, I'm not. Whether it's good or not, some of you watch multiple channels, you're probably going to see them there talk shit, and you're going to see others here in a little bit. They're going to get on board to covering me and talking about me, good or bad. I expect it. I appreciate it. But you're also going to see where, they're going to keep rolling out the same stuff. And there's nothing I can do about that. I expect it. And I had to think about that. It's going to be, well, you put your life out there like you said other people did, and you're going to get what you're going to hear. And that's right. I was unprepared, and not rich enough is my crime. It is my major crime right now. Uh, you know, my worry is for George. I have two grandchildren. I have children. I lost my mother in 1999. She was 50 to cancer. It was similar to leukemia. The white cells attack their body. It's called capillite chain. And it just attack. Basically, it's leukemia is the best way. And she was on dialysis and this and that. She went in for her Crohn's disease, and they did a surgery, and the incision within 24 hours just started reopening. She was bleeding on the floor. They were doing dialysis. It was horrible. Platelets every day, and she passed away. And my daughter just reminded me I was 28 I thought I was 30 something, which is close enough for my memory. But that's where the kids are. They're 32, 33. I'm probably making them younger than they are. I lose track of them too. But not quite the same age. But for them being in their mid 30s to lose their parents, it's a very hard effect on them. And it's going to be hard on George. He just lost his dad and his dad's mom, his grandmother, and then to lose me would just, I'm sorry, George is fragile. You guys, him going off the last few times, love you, George. I know you're going to rewatch this, but it's true. He's on the edge himself. And I can't help but talk about the scenario because I'm trying to work it out myself. It's just like, let's just go to the emergency room and do this. And no, can't do that. That'll use up all the money. And no, if we go do this, and that, the pulmonary specialist, besides the basics, he's going to want further tests from another visit. And he's going to want ones that cost just as much before he'll go any further. And he won't do anything because my heart's going bad. We have to fix your heart in order to fix the pulmonary. It could be your heart that's doing this, but it could be, it's just like wild. But George is having a hard time, guys. Although George is off the chain sometimes, I'm off the chain, but he's especially sensitive. Unless you're Bill Gates, yeah, nothing can really prepare you for that. No. And I would still, somebody asked me again, it came up again recently, would I reconsider not coming here? The answer is no. I'd still do it all over again. And there's nothing I can do to prepare for this because we still have a side account that has that oh shit money. And it's not even to be touched in this case. George may need it to go see his mother in Florida. So we just won't touch that. That is in his account. It was from his original savings. I don't even have that ability, and it's only going to do one additional test. He already said use it. That's fine. It might go for towards cremation or something. I don't know. But the whole deal is there's nothing we could have done. One person, which stuck with me this morning, said, "Oh, I definitely, we it is definitely expected for this channel for this to happen." And was that an insinuation because of size? Because they seen us going forward and asking for money after complaining or covering people? Yeah, you have your rights to your opinions. Karma will come around to everybody, but everybody, I actually appreciate seeing this because if everybody's just like, "Oh, sorry, Heidi. Oh, sorry." It's kind of like what I said about Mark Thornton. It's, I need to know both sides too. I know there's a lot to process and a lot that could have been done or what coulda, woulda, shoulda, like George said. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mark. Tia, thank you. Oh, I thought you said I could hit the cats. So, Heidi, when you feel down and depressed, hit you. They're gonna kick them cats. Can I kick them though? I might feel better that way. That might be what happened to the poor kitten. I told George, I said, "Oh my God, did I step on the cat or something?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, the poor guy. I think he just jumped off of something wrong." The kitten goes from there's a small box that's in the kitchen that's like a plastic container because of storage is really bad here, and it has some items in it. He jumps from there and then he gets up on the top ledge and gets up on the counter. I think he's been jumping off of high things. But no, it is. They've honestly, I've considered getting rid of the cats already, which is extremely upsetting, and the pets already. And the reason being is, the YouTube money has covered that for taking care of the pets and like rehoming, like where we get them fixed and we get their shots and we've done these things. Even the outside cats, we try to do stuff like some flea oil when they're bad off or got mange. We're hoping it'll help them or something. But I just feel it's too much for George. And it's not like it takes all day to take care of him, but it's the little things, and it's enough to wipe me out. I have to decide between, just grabbing a peanut butter sandwich than me fixing a warm meal or something because my energy's gone from my entire day. And I told George that if something happens to me, he will move in with his family. There's the family home. So he has somebody, so that much is covered, but he can only take one or two of them. So unfortunately, the cats we will be taking, I won't be here. They will be going to, I told George to go to the Noah's Ark pet shelter because she's a no kill shelter. She's got an oversized cat house. It's that one that we went to when we first got here and we give to her on a monthly basis. It's got like a large cat house, but God, there's got to be 100 cats in there, but it's better than them going into a shelter here in Angel City where they put 10 of them in a cage, a small cage, or it is a kill shelter. So, um, but I thought about it in advance, and George just said last night, he says, we might as well just keep them, until, and he's right because they sleep most of the day anyways. And no, the black one got up in my face 3 times yesterday. It was a little scary. He like picture like the mic being me. He was like, I was like, what the hell? I said, am I dying sooner than later? He kept getting in my face like he was checking my breathing. It's kind of weird. Um, Even if they medevac me, that is still they don't go straight through. And I thought about it because that's what was mentioned when I started reading stuff, not directly from the embassy, but there was mentions of medevacing emergency people out of here. I still don't think I can, unless they're straight through to Florida and they're going to bring somebody and I can lay down in it. I get it's medevac and there'll be a nurse. I know those things would cost expensive. 200,000, 150,000 US or something. They do have those flights, but I can't afford that either. So I would rather, I don't know, guys. But yeah, I get the medevac, but the embassy will have an answer. I got to wait for George to do the call. So the embassy does want to talk, but we more ask them to either find financing or who can or to back the note. So that way we could repay is what George had asked, but and then try to get as much funds to go with it. But hell, I still think they'll try to hold me. I told George, I said, they won't get me in that emergency. I said, but I'm too slick for that. I said, no, not here in the Philippines. No, sir. I'm too smart for that. They ain't never gonna catch me over there. Not without those funds. But I might enjoy that shit. What you mean you ain't letting me out? Oh hell no. I'm gonna run that place. I'm gonna be a boss in there. Okay, then I'm just living here. You do the opposite, like the homeless people when they take over those houses and shit. Oh, you ain't letting me out? Okay, then I'm living here. They're gonna have to evict. You're gonna have to evict me now. So I don't want to, but it's funny to think about all of that. I was thinking about that last night. I was like, yeah, I just, it doesn't actually mean they're going to treat you either. So, in other words, it's like America. They'll do all the treatment, build up the bill. You see it 6 months later. There, they won't. They'll do X amount when I can't pay the bill. Then, without additional money, they'll just stop, and then I'll just be stuck in the bed. Shoot, I'll be lucky if they throw me a bottle of water at that point. So, hey, bad boy, thank you. Hugs, hugs. If my wife added my nebulizer medicine in my belly button, you're welcome to have it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I definitely need at this point. That's like the current stage. What was it that just triggered me to think about something? The nebulizer. I'll remember. There's so much going through my head I wanted to say to you guys. Oh, I know. Now, the next thing we may do, which may be sooner than later, it's still, thank you, Philly in the Philippines. Brian brought up a lot of good points. He said that some of his people are like, oh, what if they use the money on their cats or use it for something else? And Brian's like, whatever they use the money on, man, that's on them. And I'm sure it'll go to the right thing, which is true. But I told George, more than likely, here's the deal. I can no longer lay flat in bed. And when I lay down with several pillows, it harms my breathing. It's killing my lungs quicker. I need a hospital bed. And no matter how many pillows we prop up, the bed was brought down here a while back because the muscles in my legs and like the lupus, it was hard going up the stairs and going up and down constantly. And the AC's downstairs. That was the biggest reason, was the AC. But the bed definitely couldn't go back upstairs because we were considering a second AC to put it back upstairs. So, but now with me being sick, the bed stays down here. And hospital bed will probably be next over everything. So we're just waiting for additional funds. So hospital bed locally, or um, there's like places that'll deliver them, is probably about 700-800 US. So when the funds get to a certain point, because I'm going to need it afterwards for recovery too. So of course, it's got to be heavy duty. I'm not a tiny Filipino. They've got some that's like half the cost, but it's really meant for George's size, and it's like hand cranked. If he's not here, I'm not going to be able to crank myself up or down and angle myself. But the one is a full like hospital bed where I can get in and out. I can adjust my legs. It'll allow me to sit up. Or we talked about a full recliner a month ago when this started getting bad. I should have been sleeping upright, but I can't. So it is making it worse. And so we were discussing that, but I told him I didn't want to make a move. And again, we'll make it transparent that hospital bed is in the house because it's going to be needed, whether it's end of care, or and it's going to be because of you guys that we're able to do this. And I told George, I'm well aware of my surroundings where I'm at. I'm not hoity-toity. I am self-aware of every action right now. Well, I won't be after I get the morphine. So anyway, so I'm just joking. Chai, or how do you say joy, chai, or there's somewhere, I forgot what the word is they say here in Filipino. But the bed is probably a necessity pretty quick, because I told George every day it's getting more miserable to lay that way. So yeah, trying to think of. So that was the other thing where, because that's going to put the money that's coming in, it'll be a small amount of it and it'll be necessary anyways. And if I'm at the last month or two of my life, I'm going to need something like that. When the one that's there already has the full care to it, like there's even a toilet area, which is kind of weird and gross at the same time, but they do have them in regular hospitals. So I guess there's a side place that it's so sturdy that it actually has, where the pan comes from underneath, it gets cleaned up and everything. And so it could get that bad and very quickly. So yeah, because my body's just shutting down. And I never really thought about the whole thing of, I keep like amazing, and I have medical training. It just never, and it's been years, guys. I never claimed that it was any time recent. I've been in the medical field, and it was in the 90s. And it's just like, until you live that moment, you can study it. You can look at the books. You can keep reading it on the internet or watching videos. And it's like, until you feel that, it's like the whole body is shutting down. It's like the damn heart really does control everything. And I don't know how many people think about that. Like, that's a deep thought. How many people really think about their heart? That it controls everything. It's the function of the oxygen, the blood through the body, how the water is distributed, your muscles. My hair is falling out. My below my knees, my legs are all discolored right now because there's no circulation. Right now, there's no concern that I'm going to lose any legs, but I could. It's just, my feet are all dried out, and it's a lot going on, guys. It's just gone south the last probably 2.5 months. Yes, it would be quite costly, but depending on the funds we raise, and then there could be, I told George there's a very good possibility that we could enter the hospital with X amount of funds, they would do a test and say, hey, everything's blocked. We can't even do stent. She needs a surgery, which would mean I can't go home at all. I would just go home to wait for end of life. So then we would have to consider George helping a family member, hiring in a professional nurse, because honestly, you don't want to risk just hiring anybody that can control oxygen and injections and medicine, because George is just going to be he really will not be. He's just going to be there, supportive. He'll, fix food, but he's not. It's going to require somebody else. So let's say it can get costly. Um, Guesstimate 1,000 US a month, maybe 50, 60, 70. Now, if you're doing 2 shifts and someone's always here, yeah, it's going to go beyond that. But probably from an agency or someone out of school or something, we're probably looking at about 1,000 US a month. But at this point, it won't be needed for more than a month or two anyway. So it would be palliative care. So we would also turn those funds that we have into that. And to cremate is the deal for me. All the funds will go for medical, guys, I promise you. And I'm only saying this because it's been going through our head. So cremation, palliative care, bringing somebody in to help with those items, and hospital bed now, because can I deal with it and realize I started saying I'm self-aware of things because there are people sleeping on boxes and huts out in the province. And that, of course, I've got to be uncomfortable in this and that. So I'm aware of that, but if that's what the funds are going for, um, the bed has like I said, it's already got the bathroom thing attached in case I can't walk anymore. We've already got the previous wheelchair that we had a while back. The previous wheelchair was just because of the lupus by itself when I got tired through the day and stuff. And so we're already kind of partially prepared, but I still have some hope that they'll see I only need 1 or 2 stents, and then that gets me home, guys. That's where I'm at. I'm really at that point. A shout out to any of the vloggers that can help. I don't care if it's in any manner you got to say she should have. Your opinion about what happens as a vlogger covering this, I'm okay with that because I'm aware of that. Okay, it is where it is, and any of them that have been doing it. Like I said, I know George has only reached out himself to 2 of them. I'm sure he could reach out to some in Dumageddon, but we're starting to get to our limit of feeling odd about it because we're just waiting one step at a time. Good question. Well, the Crohn's disease, no. Open heart surgery, she had 2 valves replaced. One of my valves is starting to go bad now, the mitral. But my mom had 2 replaced, and they were aware of her cancer then, 5 years. And understand, even if I go home and I get this surgery, the lupus can just reattack my heart and whatever work they've done. That is also fucking scary right now. That makes me just want to say, give me my morphine. I'm ready to order me some McDonald's and donuts, and I'm just going to sit here and me and George are just going to play board games in the hospital bed. That is my vision right now. Sorry, the monitor shaking because my arm was on the table. That is my vision at this point. And I'm sure some of you be like, fuck that shit. I'm going to do this, and that. And we're just going to, yeah, I'm kind of losing hope in a dark way that it's like, even if I make it home, which is the goal, then open heart surgery does not guarantee me anything. A couple years, 5 years. So I always thought those that fought cancer so hard and got the chemo and poisoned themselves and they're in their 60s and 70s. I don't know why. There are people in their 80s having heart surgery. And I'm like, it's because you get to the point where I'm at and you're desperate. So if they lay that shit on me in the hospital here and say, you'll be dead in 3 days, yeah, there's a good chance. Although I don't want my chest, they literally either saw you or they take these clippers and they clip through your bone and that shit is wired back together. I hope they don't use ramen noodles to do it, man. Sew me back together with some dry noodles or I'm joking. They have good doctors here. And that's another thing between Clark, AU, or do we travel 60 miles and go to the most expensive hospital here? I don't think so. I think that's too far away for travel with the animals, and they have two great hospitals here. I don't think it's necessary to go to St. Luke's because it is extremely more expensive. They have good doctors. But yeah, sometimes I just think, you know, it just is what it is. So, but my mom, 5 years, cancer diagnosis and everything, she still decided to have it. That was a thought, and being we have no establishment in the U.S. for close to 6, 7 years, there's George no longer owns the business, and I'm on Social Security. He has the YouTube, but on a good month, it brings in 400 or 500. He makes money on the side through the family, but it's not enough, guys. It's just not enough income. We've been able to live with AC and be able to eat out, little traveling, little hotel. Never been fancy with us. We're just regular old folks. And same with my family. Yeah, I mean, if they could have, they would have. And I think there's a few of them working on making some of the money and sending it, but we're probably a couple thousand, possibly. I can't even say that's going to happen. Um, yeah, so it's no, my family doesn't, and most doesn't. I want to be honest, besides family going against you when you try to move to the Philippines, a lot of them not only will cut you off, but a lot of them have so much resentment. Like it's like people burn bridges or they have fights with the family, and family's a real thing. A lot of people used to do videos about how family and you moving overseas, and now with all the shit going on in America, it's brought a whole new level of who's talking to who and family against family over politics and you know all this other stuff. But it's it really sorts out who like I've been reading these expat forums and it's like I can't believe that so and so won't help me, or I can't believe, and you can't rely on that either. But it will make you think. It's like people that you've helped, or like that guy said, "Oh, I gave my daughter and son a car, and I paid for their wedding, and I loaned my friends $20,000." That will not save you now. It just doesn't. All those favors, just like if you help someone here in the Philippines, you give it because you did, not because those people owe you something, or it's just where it is. It's the same with my family, or like that guy that said his dad was the owner or he was the president of that Go company, that travel agency. Yeah, just because his dad was making buku money doesn't mean the son is going to benefit from it. There's a lot of families like that. But in general, a loan would be a no. There's just no crediting. Now, if my other family's going to do it, then I have no idea. So they're aware, they've been aware um, of the severity of it for a few weeks, but the kick into overdrive, I just can't come home. It just happened to them. So, hey, what's going on? Are you able to take a boat ride to Thailand? Yeah, no. Yeah, there's no our top rated hospitals, US, yeah, they're not going to take Medicare. So mine is Medicare through the government. Once you leave the United States for more than 6 months, all those supplements that were insurances drop off. And if somebody still got it and they're claiming they're using it, they're not supposed to when they live here long term. After a month or two, those are to be turned off because you no longer live in the United States. Traveling for a few months, you can keep it, but mine is through Medicare. Okay, I had travel insurance initially, didn't have to use it. So, but no, that would not be a consideration. It would still be needing to come up with the money for that bill. I think most heart surgeries isn't open these days. No, this one is. I know people think that. Bypass surgery is a 6 to 8 hour surgery, if uncomplicated, where a chest opening is necessary. So, no. there are other things like there was a possibility of one of my, as I'm to understand, if it was one of my other issues of the valves, there is some things they can do. They can unblock the blockages this way, but the one that I need absolutely is open. It's the CABG. They've got to cut me open for this. So, and my mom had to be open because she had multiple valves and they did not do laparoscopic back then. So, in the 90s. So they just weren't doing it. So, not there, anyways. And this was in Florida. So they had to open her up. It was a total open. So, no, CABG, coronary artery bypass graft, they'll have to open me up. And it's a long surgery. And that's if I can survive it. I've already inflamed, which they don't want to put you to sleep. I already can't breathe. They don't want to put you to sleep. They're claiming me being overweight will not be their problem, but you see them going. It's like, I know you see it. I know you see it. Age, face. It's like, I know you see it. So it's just where it is. So, but it's the lupus that's going to do me in. Um, yeah, the inflammation is off the charts. It really is. But yes, I'm trying to. Like I said, I sometimes I just want to take that shortcut and say, buy hospital bed, get a nurse, and watch movies and watch old cartoons. And me and George just envision us both laying in the hospital bed. There'll be enough room for us both. We've both been in a single bed before in Mexico, so it's like just envision that, and we just going to live a ride out the next few weeks like that. Oh, Bonnie and Clyde, guys. Um, I am totally missing these stickers by gabbing. Don, thank you so much. Um, Thank you, Richie, so much. God bless you on that, Richie. Richie Rich Abroad is another one of those channels. And I said positive. It's not because you gave the money. I said it before you gave money. That him and his wife have that cute little banter or they discuss things about what's going on here in the Philippines together. Um, Copycat. No, just kidding. You trying to be me or something? No, honey, I'm just kidding. Give more attitude. I'll give you side lessons, but no, they're a cute couple that give information. They cover different topics and everything, and they've been supporters up in our channel for a while. Um, I'm probably just missing the stickers that are coming in because I'm yammering. Thank you so much. I believe it says FISM. Thank you so much. And this is overwhelming for me because I've always talked about how if there's a single mother or a Filipina or a male expat, they're just sticker dropping constantly over stuff that like me and George is like, yeah, but they're lying or they're this. And for George says, they're dropping money to a single mother. Okay, that is in a decent place, most of them, and they're spending money on other stuff. And he said, why? Because the dad's not supporting the kid or something, or they don't have any money coming in, or because they won't go out and get a job. And he's like, but we can't get them to help you situation. So honestly, most of the people, we're getting Filipinos that are helping without a doubt. Um, we're getting a lot of expats and regulars and channels that are they're doing the support. But I agree with Smooth Lee that it's like, I've always felt like the channel's been, it's probably shunned because I got a big mouth, but sorry, sometimes the truth or me and George's ways just aren't people's ways. In the beginning, we get a lot of comments that it was me picking on George. Then they got it where George was a Filipino, and a lot of the expats were talking negative about male Filipinos, and we just weren't sure. But our channel has slowly grown over the years, and mostly we've tried to be entertainment, and we did a lot of help with getting people here during the pandemic and covered different topics. And it's just been a wild ride. I don't regret the YouTube with George. George will continue if something happens. This is his channel, guys. I know there's a lot of troll or negative things saying, oh no, it's all you and you're just avoiding this, and that. No, it's always been George's channel. He opened this on his own. It was his in Florida when it started. It was his name ideal. This is all his, like all the licensing, going out and taking care of everything has been him. I've just been a mouthpiece on the side. Sure, the money goes towards the cats, and the help is going into a fund that George is asking for. So we're trying to keep it all legal, right? But the channel will continue. This video will stay on forever, probably long after I'm gone. Okay? And I want you guys to support the channel. I've been trying to talk to him about that because he's been withdrawn the last few months after his dad died. It hasn't been right for him. And now he's sitting here watching me die. I'm okay. I mean, I know it's weird to say it. I'm okay if I just get this hospital bed and get some morphine and, like I said, watch my cartoons and we get to spend the last so many months together. He needs to continue the channel and he's going to need the support. Like, George really is one of those people, like he said, it's not the money that matters to him. It really isn't. Me and George both said we're not meant to be rich. We're not meant to be famous. We're not meant to be like adorned out there. Like we're both, what do you call that? Who was that famous football player with his beautiful wife? Wasn't her name Giselle too? Where they were total vegans. Him, Brady, and they were like the perfect vegan couple or something. Bodies all slim and always working out and shit. We weren't meant to be all that, Bonnie and Clyde, but not, but it was never about the money. It, like George says, like now, especially for me, I get to, it's, it's an outlet right now. It's a way to warn. It's a way to just say it, what's going on. But I'm hoping long after you guys will support him because he's going to need it. I imagine if something happens, he's just not going to do anything for a while, and that's to be expected for him. He's one of those that totally withdraw, and but he'll be back through. And I've threatened him that he needs to keep people updated. It's quite important to do so. Love does not keep score, right? Somebody said something the other day which was true. How was it they had said it? I had seen it on social media, but I think it was actually a church service because it was just like a short they made out of a church service. I guess basically you know who your people are. The people that love you stay, and something about the ones that don't and support you or not meant to, and this and that. Yeah, you don't stay for certain reasons, and there was some truth to some of what he was saying. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Radar. They take Medicare at WSS. That's so much closer than going back. What's WSS? Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. I mean, I would have to look that up. And thank you, Zero to Hero. Kind of skimming through here. Tio Chong, thank you for your support. Hey, I meant to put on here earlier. Now, on the side, I'm going to collect for my mummy funds, bitches. I'll make a short out of this. Okay, so I'm personally going to collect for mummy funds. Okay, which means that when I'm gone, these guys are going with me. We're not going to drop them off at the pet shelter. We're going to make these guys into mummies. Guys, you're going to be mummies. What am I bothering you? And I'm making George into a mummy too. So I'm going to have us all put into, we're going to mummify ourselves and the cats and the two dogs and George. And so we need mummy funds. So I told George I'm going to put mummy funds as a joke across. Support the channel for mummy funds. But I don't know what WSS is. That sounds like West Virginia. Oh, you're talking to somebody at. Not that that's where it is. I'm not sure. I might have missed the message further up about that. I hope so too, or at least to be comfortable. At this point, it really is down to palliative care or getting treatment. I'm already in a palliative stage, except for my anxiety's not letting me sleep all the time. And I'm like in a panic too. It's like fight or flight at this point. I just can't. My anxiety's not letting me sleep at night. I can't sleep at night very long. Right? Don't be throwing ass wipes around. It's like a big spitball. Come on, laugh somebody, right? Uh, and I might have missed some of your guys' stuff further up. Let's see, 924. Yeah, I'm behind. So if I missed anything further up, guys, I'm sorry. Usually it's, well, I can't say it's George talking these days because that last live stream, he was so withdrawn. And I told him that. And I was like, but I get it too. He's really scared, guys, as anybody would be. Yeah, he asked about that. Yes, Laura, the cramps are getting extensive. So the bad balance is honestly, they want blood work all the time. So I just had a set, I don't know, 2 weeks ago that just got results. And I had some previous. They keep a balance on like electrolytes, potassium, sodium, all my body's holding all water, all sodium. But the pills, I'm on several heart pills now, and there's a bad potassium balance. So that's why I said I had to cut really a lot of foods out to not have too much. So I'm slightly dehydrated. There's a balance of that, but I am taking a slight potassium supplement, which I'm doing on my own. But without that, every night, like my hands are cramping, my feet are, and the bottom from like waist down just cramps through the night. And now it's starting it in the morning. So that's because the potassium and sodium's missing, but I still have to have a balance of salt. So it's a balancing act every day. Yeah, no, there's multiple stops. They do have straight through flights on, it's the Korean airline, that new one that came out a couple years ago. And it's, um, I forgot. I think that's down to 36 hours straight through, but I think they stop in California only. And then you go from there. Like, I guess it does a connecting flight through another company because they're only international, and then it would go. So I would still need to stop. And then, and that's even if, and that's after the fact. That's after I get stents or get better and everything. So thank you so much. No, very much so. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, they did say the guy died. Yeah, but they were saying he was up there in age, and then people were discussing the insurance, and it reminded me all over again. But it's like it's a yeah, 400 a month insurance in the Philippines. It seems high to me. No, not really. Not for somebody over a certain age, and it's not. It's they still charge U.S. prices, so that actually, the previous quote we had with him just knowing I was overweight and the lupus was in the 600 margin. And that was a while back. And I told Georgia, so we're not going to pay 600 a month. So it just wasn't at that point. So it's like I had not had any issues, and, to not foresee my heart going out. Uh, my mom's did because of her cancer. I didn't think that it would have this much of an effect so quick with the lupus. Didn't think it would do it at all. It just like boom, all at once. A lot of my medical was neurological. The lupus, which just made me tired midday, take a nap, steroids, weight gain, side issues, migraine. So these were things that weren't going to kill me. Dealing with it, paying for it, but I didn't think it would come down, and then boom, it really was quick. And thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. I thought Guam Military Hospital had state of the art equipment and great doctors. I wonder if the embassy can organize that prior to getting to the US. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, anything's a possibility. I don't hold that they'll say, hey, we're going to arrange this flight, take you there, and get your care done there. Maybe they have the VA stuff here, and what hospital do they put them through? Maybe there is some other connection. I'm not giving up. We had one of George's daughters reach out saying we should try to get some sort of grant or loan, and we started checking everything out this morning. Anything's a possibility, but a lot of those grants, you have to be based there in these accounts, and there's a lot to it. So it's like one day at a time where we've been looking into the recommendations, but the embassy could have a lot to say. So thank you so much. Yeah, it spells out the sticker itself. Isn't that funny? Thank you so much. Ideally, if you can self fund, but most people can't do this. No, most of the people coming here don't. It's yeah, 1 million peso earmark. It's for medical and dental only. Yeah. It's like I said, we initially had some funds. We just didn't think. And then we truly thought that, let's say blood pressure acted up and I was really getting sicker. A lot of these guys make it back. There's a good portion that make it back to get these. So I didn't think it would come without fail. Didn't want to travel without George. Didn't want to go crash at the family's house, but a lot of them do. So I held on to that hope. So shame on me for that. So I'm just lucky I have the support of the community through, the friends that I have, through, like my kids have been talking with me. I've got George. We have George's family. His brother's a doctor. Now, a lot of you guys have made comments about that. Him being, why isn't he doing anything? Because he's not a heart specialist. He's not a pulmonary specialist. But he does know, per the blood work and me not being able to breathe and this, that it's shorter than what the heart doctor. That's why George made a comment the other day. He wished they would just be honest. Most of the doctors, America or here, are just going to go around it till they get the big test, which is highly expensive and then requires immediate treatment. That they're not. But every day it's getting worse. The pressure in my stomach, like I said, I could make it to 2, 3 o'clock now by 10, 11. Well, like right now, it's like ridiculously rock hard at the top of my stomach. And that's just not a good thing. It shortens my life even quicker. But with these progressing, and now this new cough that keeps happening as I talk, it's just not. But he can't. And his brother's training is, he's a pediatrician. So that's another thing. Yes, he has the knowledge and he works at AU hospital, but he's not a pulmonary, he's not a heart doctor, he's not a lupus, he's not a rheumatologist. He has some training. It's not in those things, them are specialties. It feels like I've got a flu all the time. Now I know I've been crying and stuff, but that's another thing. My body's shutting down. It's like I have COVID, is what I feel like. Most of the day, there's so much pressure. Like when you had COVID and you're drained from a flu, or those that had COVID, it's a that's what it feels like, but times 10, like on the breathing and the pressure in my chest. But like sometimes I just get where the one side only is runny all the time, like my nose does, and my eyes are watery. It feels like a constant, it feels like pneumonia, which I've had several times in my life. And yeah, man, George said, could be worse, could be cancer outright, just causing me to ache 24/7, which I'm achy, but he said, but it's, it's out there. Can this link be posted? Because my understanding money goes 100% with link, and your YouTube donation takes a lot. Well, they're taking money through the Go Get Fund Me, and anything that we make a movement on is taken. The only thing that is not that is guaranteed is a direct wire transfer, and we haven't offered that because we don't expect people to do that, or we don't expect, that's a little more personal. We only are familiar with X amount of the expats that we deal with. So, if it came from somebody we knew big time and they said, okay, we're going to transfer this because we collected it or because this, then I would trust that and then there'd be no fees. It would just go into the account. The problem is even Gcash takes their cut when you transfer or use it. PayPal does, YouTube does, and with the Go Get Fund Me, they take a few dollars and then PayPal. So but it's, yeah, it's kind of all the way around. So only the direct wire, and I don't even know. Like I've transferred money from one account to another because there's like we have two accounts. Actually, we have three, and we've moved it that way. But I'm not a genius on everything. And then I don't know people. One person said they were going to do a wire transfer, like, well, actually a few, but they said they were, going to do that. How could they do that? And we haven't responded to them through an email. And I think that's through Wise or something. But again, everything's been mentioned down to what's that yellow company? The one where you go pick up the money at then not Graham Bell. I want to say Graham Bell. What the hell? Hey Bella, stop. Hey, what are you doing, kitty? Drinking up all the water like you own the cat litter company? Guam's premier hospital, Guam Regional, provide essential care but face modernization challenges. As I'm to understand, good morning, our Philippine journey. As I'm to understand, if you're still here in the house, uh, yeah, and it's also hard to get into these. These aren't just you drop in and it's. We had that guy we interviewed. It's been a few years, but I forgot what his name was too. I'm bad with names. He said it's not exactly just a drop in on the appointments. So I know that bitch was trying to one up me, Victoria. And the black cat's been getting down in my face like this. I'm like, you never did that before. I said, stop. He was, yeah. And yes, most of them don't. And we sold everything. We got rid of several cars, George's motorcycle. We spent money along the way. We spent money when we got here. So we never that not practicing what we preach shit. We told you that was it. It was a one way in, like most people. It's where it is. You got to take chances in life, period. Okay, for those that are saying you should have did this on the insurance, you should have left when you got rid of your expat. No, we weren't. It was the middle pandemic. There was still another year and a half of lockdown. What the freak, man? There was no decision of they weren't letting nobody fly. George is vaccinated. I never, by the way, never did get the COVID vaccine. So a lot of people thought it was the vaccine that could have did me in. Had COVID twice. Now, this could be something from the COVID left over. Um, but we had it in Mexico and we had it here. So, but no, that's another thing I never even considered. There was no getting out. We had the longest lockdown. Mike, you still in the house? Yeah, that was crazy. It was like, and then if you were a certain age, at some point it was just George going outside. And I get he's the age, but with me having the autoimmune, I was quick to get sick. So old people and sick people were for sure to stay in. And he's like, yeah, you're not going anywhere. That went on for a while. So it's kind of like I get, you can say it could be purchased online and this and that, or you said to leave. No, there was so much going on during this whole operation, and everybody's story and everybody's way is different. I'm no better than anybody as the next expat, as the next vlogger, as anybody else. There are people that live on little to no income here. When we complain or talk about them not having money or this is why they died or this and that, always, a conversation, but things happen. Things happen, guys. And it's just the way the cookie crumbles. No matter which way we would have taken or had, there's still always going to be something. And some just have a luck like that. I've always just gotten by, always did okay, never a lot of issue situation. And it's like, if it's my time, I feel this is definitely my time. If something was going to follow through, it will. That's where I'm at on the whole situation. You can't control destiny, fate, or any of these other things. And if people want to come here to the Philippines, there's many reasons they come. We have several why we came here, and we wouldn't have changed that. So, and even if you told people, and we have, don't do this, don't give the money away. They give all their money away. It's the same if you tell them not to come here. Them bitches are coming. I just thought about that too. It doesn't matter. Even if I knew this was happening and I'm going to not be here in another month, I still would have came and I still would. That's just, I mean, there's several reasons. So, my father was on hospice with fluid in his lungs. The nurse used some sort of home medical device to remove the fluid from his lungs. Yeah, the x ray doesn't show it. I have extreme pressure. So there is a point, a pressure point where my lungs are filling with too much air, but yet it's like I have oxygen. I can't quite explain it right now, but it's bad. So my lungs are failing me, and the water in my body, I can go and get treatment at the hospital. Sucking water out of my lungs with the tube, I'm not at that point. It will possibly get into that point. And they said there could be some in there, but the last x ray 2 weeks ago does not show any fluid. But they also said it doesn't mean it's there. That's just an x ray. And it's been 2 more weeks. So, yeah, I know what you're talking about. The trip to the hospital would alleviate a lot if I could get the correct steroids, get the correct Lasix and the stents to see if that's going to correct everything. Hey, Michael, we love you and your channel, sister. Thank you. Did I ever do that? I probably didn't. Yeah. It's going through and doing different things here. Yeah, Mike is in there, and thank you, Don. Yeah, the full, yeah, CABG, yeah. I don't know. There's a comment at the bottom by Chris saying, Ivy, you know, we're not trolls. I don't know who Ivy is. Was Ivy further up in the comments? What test have you had to make you speak so morbid? Honestly, there's so much they can do with medication and living proof. I don't know who you're talking to. Did you meant to say Heidi and that's you questioning me? So I'm not sure, but I'll address that on the side. It's Heidi, not Ivy. Okay. Um, it first off, it doesn't take any serious test per my symptoms, them listening to my heart, going to the doctors for the last 2 months, the blood work, and this gives away quite a bit, and going to a heart specialist. They can't move forward. Okay, I already have congestive heart failure. So that's already been diagnosed. So medicines, I've been on the medicines for a few months. So without the next test, in preparation for stents and that, those are the tests. Meds do not correct this. So I've been talking about that because you just made that comment. So that's what I've been saying the whole time in this live and the previous live and in George's descriptions is what's going on. So I have had tests and echocardiograms that have looked at my heart and they can see this. That's what's been done. So blood work shows it, which it can. Examinations can show it. Symptoms can show it. And and the actual echo that which has taken photos, they can see what's going on. So that's what's giving it to me. So if you go in everything we've been posting, all the information is there at the Go Get Fund. All the information we've officially posted a few times on Facebook. And my heart ejection fraction, the left and right side of my heart is giving out. My lungs is showing a pressure of 90. Mike, if I'm correct, 20 is normal and I'm at 90. Inflammation in my body is at a 4.1 when 1 is bad. And my organs are shutting down. So that's what's going on. So, and I've been seeing the heart specialist. So they will not, the next further testing is how much money we've raised, but then I need to be prepared for either full surgery, as he already said I needed, or stents. This is what's going to cost 60 to 80,000. If I enter the hospital without the money, that's it. I'll never end up getting out, and it could be higher. I can't fly home until I'm better. So if the stents and all that'll work, then that's what's going on. But medication does not correct. Medication has only put a Band-Aid on me for the last 2 to 3 months, actually 2 months. So I am at, for sure, LASIK, water resistant like fluid. It's not really working anymore. It's just keeping me at bay. That's what's going on. And my lungs are shutting down. So there's multiple things going on, but I appreciate you asking. So I was just wondering the information is there. Hey, Thomas. Yeah, I just seen that. Let's see, 9:45. Yeah, without George here, I'm doing multiple things. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get, and I don't think I can. Oh, there it is. I'm trying to pin the page that people have been asking about. There it is. I'll pin the message of and that, like I said, you guys don't have to. If you share that, that helps. If you're a YouTuber or if you have a Facebook page, it helps. It's just spreading the word. And the other part is that all the testing results and information that's been relayed to us through the cardiac doctor is in there. And so that gives you guys a better idea. So my mother has edema, swelling in her legs. She wears the compression stockings, moves the water out of her legs so that she can pee it out. Yeah, at this time, not only is the water in my legs, but it's also up in my stomach. The problem is compression stockings are very tricky, and there is some issues with that. With my whole situation becomes really tricky. I also am aware of that, and um, when you're up, one thing happens when I lay down, even more fluid moves to my stomach, and I'm not getting the urine out of me. It's actually going into my uh, tissue and all these other things. So the edemas, has changed. And so it's a lot of other things. So the stockings, my legs aren't totally blown up where the compression stockings are going to control it. The LASIKs aren't even working. I require a different medicine at this point. Really? Cranton is a safer alternative to morphine. Yeah, I'll pass on that. I see where you put put that on there. I get it, but no. I'm not even sure if that's here. Two, I'm not taking that alternate stuff at this point. Thank you. That's not what it's about because we've already had people comment that I'm a druggie and that's just me drug seeking. And it's like, fuck you on that too. And I'm just going to be brutally honest. If it wasn't for it not helping me breathe, I'd have been on a long time ago for other medical issues. My other medical issues at this point call for some sort of pain meds, but I haven't. But at this point, if it's going to help me breathe, I'm in. I'm not taking any. I can't even. Somebody was like, well, if you go back to the US, you can do the medical marijuana. It's like, fuck. I can't even smoke. Don't you think I'd be smoking a cigarette by now or something? No, nothing. I can't do shit. I don't drink alcohol. I haven't. I can't. All of this is just going to make me sick. So believe me, if I could, I probably would, but I can't even do that because I don't have the lung capacity. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, I'm slowly going through these. Yeah, I'm about a half hour behind on that. Yeah. And I mean, it's, and I get it is what it is on that. Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm limited to 3 a day and I've just been, this is considered my second one. The last one I'll save for the last part of the day. Thank you so much. No, here in Thailand, it's the same thing. Okay, yeah. And again, thank you, Don. And if I have not mentioned somebody or put your sticker up, I'm sorry I didn't. First off, Chris, I never called. I mean, I know I already addressed this because I was looking down at my phone. But no, unless you were somebody who created another account and said those other things, I'm just saying we've received a lot of messages get held because of the stupid shit that's been said for that purpose. Not what you're saying, but we've received a lot of emails, fake Facebook accounts that come through our messenger, and it's like, but not you specifically, but I don't understand your context of speaking morbid because it's my fucking life. And I do feel like that. And you're not going through what I'm going through. I'm looking at any day I can pass away because the tests are that serious. So, well, believe me, my family's in denial big time. As a matter of fact, they were wanting proof. My own fucking family. And it's like, wow. If my grandma or my other grandma, who we called Sugar, would have said, I'm dying, you took your grandparents or your parent at word, or you'd have got the back of the hand, or you'd have been told to go sit the fuck down somewhere. But the fact that people think that I'm up here just doing this for the fuck of it, I'd have done it a long time ago if we were trying to scam. I mean, come on. It's, speak morbid because I'm fucking dying. Would you like a little bit day to day now? Every day I could die now. Is that what you want? More morbid? Yeah. Medication, I'm living proof. Sorry. The same with, I appreciate the people come in here about the vegan stuff. I've been through all of that. And for the last 3 years, I've done these different diets, heavy duty, did them for a while, lost weight, gained it. Not on steroids and not with my lupus. It's been extremely hard. You guys have not walked a mile in my shoe. Our Philippine journey said that right. I believe Brian did. You're not. You can sit there and say that I'm as big as a house or belong on the six. Not you specifically, Chris. I'm talking about in general, the trolls or the people with their opinions, which you have the right, but don't fucking expect me not to say nothing. And sure the fuck don't even expect me to actually call out your channel name or your Facebook page or your email information. Because the other ones that are covering that have said something, they're like, you won't say our name? You're fucking damn right we're not. I will say something because I know you're fucking watching. But what the fuck? It's kind of where it is. But this whole thing of you coulda, woulda, shoulda, and straight blame for me being a mean ass bitch and karma and me being fat, that's all you got? Go sit the fuck down somewhere, man. Grow the fuck up and wait for your karma. Okay? And more than likely, like George said, your asses are probably in the same situation. Probably somebody disabled, someone overweight, someone mentally ill, somebody fucked up, somebody that couldn't cut it back in America, period. Somebody that's on the edge of a fucking ship with no bell, ready to fucking jump, that is so fucking bored that you're going to sit here and make fun of a dying fucking woman? Huh. What the fuck? You know, fucking no fucking vegan shit and all that. The amount of comments that have come in on the site is unreal. It's like, yo, yeah, I'm glad you didn't think of that one. There is no safety net in life. None. Thank you so much, bad boy. I know you've been there. I know you guys have. It's overwhelming. It really is, because you got to understand, it's like, and I'm not only am I being rude and open about these fucking trolls, I've also like spilled like my guts out, and I don't want to do this. It's it's very hard. Smoothly said that he knows I'm that type of woman. I am. Our Philippine journey mentioned it. I'm a hard ass woman. I have been through shit. There's a lot. I've discussed this on the channel. I've been abused by husbands. I've been RPD'd twice under the age of 18. I have, there's a lot that's happened to me. A lot of bad things, and I've made it through life. But a lot of people have these journeys. Everybody's journey is rough and hard. Nobody's life is smooth. Even the rich people will find something to bitch about, and they mentally drive themselves crazy. And then they got people that are using them and people that are abusing them and people they can't trust. Everybody's life is not perfect. But here's the thing. The prided thing for me has been very hard for this, and we've had a lot of people that have reached out and helped, and I really didn't expect it. And when George set this up, like I said, the first 48 hours set around and nothing happened, which we kind of expected, even though we had put it out to people. And then it's like, did we mess up? Did we do the right thing? Should we just pull it and just forget about it and just wait and see if I get better, which is not happening. I'm in major denial right now. I last night I told George, I said, maybe I'll just get better all on my own. Like literally those thoughts went through my head. Not with these numbers, not with the test results. It's not. And then, like somebody said, you look fine. Yeah, it's, when I'm done here, I'll lay down for the rest of the day. I am pretty much down for the entire day now. This is me sitting up, so I'm not in bed all day. So let me give you an idea of my day. I start in the morning. I can't sleep past probably 4 a.m. and George is still asleep. Then I feed the cats, clean the cat box. Okay, this is movement and everything, but I don't do it like all in one swoop. Like I have to do one thing, sit down. I go and clean myself up in the bathroom, teeth brush, hair, and all. But each one of these movements, I have to go sit down again. So a few hours go by. That's it. I'm totally exhausted by the time I go through and do the little things that take you guys an hour to do. It takes me hours. And then this live stream, sitting up, because I don't want to lay down. That's bad for my circulation. I don't want like body bed rot or whatever because you're not moving, or that worse circulation. So, but most of the day I'm down right now. So it is an experience. It really is. You know what? I've heard that. Now that I could see trying. I'm a mustard person. I'm like so European white. It's like unreal. It's like I love mustard, love mayo, and I'm not a ketchup person, and I don't use any of the other condiments. I don't even deep fry stuff, but I do like the like the French foods and the cheeses. I don't eat them per se. I just them are my favorite. All the white stuff, white chocolate. But mustard is my thing, and German food, French food, everything that I've heard from them countries that keep mentioning. It's like, yeah, that would be nice. Tomato soup, grilled cheese. Now that I wish I could sit around and eat that for the next couple of days. But yes, I will definitely try that. I have it, and I had heard something about that. Heidi, you have to fight this with all your might. You're a tough lady. That's what George says. But I still like to fuck with George, though. I like to say things like, "If I make it to Easter." I mean, he's already tense. So we've been joking, like I joke, get the hospital bed and we'll sit there and play board games, which we will. The one, if we buy that bed, has a little table, just like a hospital bed. And it's like, if I make it to Easter. Hey, maybe if I get out there and drag one of those crosses, I mean, I'm not really making fun of religion, it's a side joke. Maybe that'll fix me too, guys, for those that are looking for all cures. Western Union. Thank you, Slick Rick. Western Union could be a bitch here. You send more than X amount, and there's a bunch of fees in that too. So somebody mentioned Western Union too. It's kind of like, yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's kind of like where it is on that. So, all right, guys, I think I'm wrapping it up. I got down to the end here. So, a little bit more exposure, still raising the funds. We've hit that first goal of 100,000, but nowhere even close. It's enough to cover just the test. And I believe me, it's kind of like a lot of people are like, well, do it anyways, do it anyways. But again, it's like electrical going out on a car. If we go and do it and then like I get sicker, I'm going to need that hospital bed. So we're kind of waiting to get funds for the next few days to see where it goes to this next week or two, um, before we do. And I really cannot. And the doctor wants me in the hospital. The fluid's got to come off. Every day I don't do this, it's more damage to my lungs and my vessels. One could be causing the other, as I'm to understand. That the they're talking about vasodilators, and none of this will go any further until they realize how many stents I need, and then that'll determine the damage. It could be full damage, and then that could be why there's many reasons he went straight to saying you need this. And I was like, what about the stents? And I'm like, I think he, like George said, he said a whole bunch with not saying a whole bunch. When I asked him the questions, he would answer them nicely. But it's. So one day at a time, and the funds coming in. I think the next goal is um, the pain management in the hospital bed, and still saving. And I got to get George in here. He should be coming in a few hours to talk to the embassy. We'll get an update on that, and that'll be the next live, and George will be in for that. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining me and all of those, and keep the comments coming. And thank you so much again for the support, guys. And I'll be selling the cats here. Look at him being all sweet. I don't even. Siamese cat. All right, guys. Thank you. And I will talk to you guys later.